Hari Om Tat Sat. Welcome to Swami Jyotirmayananda Society, our journey to self-realization. Please subscribe our channel for the mystical meanings and to enjoy daily satsang. We are currently exploring Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Commentaries by my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayananda Maharaj, narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda, and we are currently on chapter number 18, and today we are starting from shloka number 56, where Lord Krishna continues to explain the traits and characteristics of an enlightened sage and how God gives him his very being. So the shloka 56, Sarva karmanyaphi sada kurvano madavya pashrayah mat prasadad vapnoti shashvatam padam avyayam. Having taken refuge in me, he who performs his duties faithfully at all times attains the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. By my grace. Important to know, God's grace, Ishvara Kripa, Guru's grace, Guru Kripa. Without grace, we are nothing. If ego continues to raise its head, we will not get enlightened. It's that simple. So, but this journey has to go through its own twists and turns. It takes time. So here, but we need absolute surrender. Every time we fall, we have to dust our pants and get up again and continue on the path. So here God is saying in this shloka, because somebody, so you have to have taken refuge in God. What does that mean? Having one pointed devotion, faith, surrender. When you pray to God, you sincerely mean it. You're not just doing an academic exercise or just repeating mechanically. That will not help. What will help is when you bring your emotions, your tears, your love, your attachments, just like you love your children or your husband or wife or your family, much in the same way. Imagine God who has more compassion than a million mothers, and yet we become so mechanical when we pray. That's not what God is expecting from us. He wants our sincere love. So that is what taking refuge in Him means. And then he who performs his duties faithfully at all times. We cannot give up our work. Karmanyavadhikaraste, the essential teaching of Gita is, Gita doesn't mean run away from this world and go and sit in a cave and forever. That stage is there for very advanced sadhaks. Most of us are not ready for that stage. We first have to qualify, then it will automatically happen. But if you are like a ripe fruit, a raw fruit, not a ripe fruit, if you are just starting to bud as a fruit and somebody plucks you and tries to eat, that is not good. You are not ripe, you are not ready. But when the mango is totally ripe, it will just automatically come in somebody's hand and be full of juice and nectar. That is what we have to do through our sadhana, through our satsang, through our devotion, meditation, and wisdom. All these things are required. So faithfully we have to do our daily duties, go to work, help serve the people, serve the poor, needy, do all those things. Don't just live a worldly life. Soon we will be gone. What credit will we get for eating, making merry, watching TV, socializing, and then dying? Those things are okay. You need some of them in your life to give you the spice, a little bit to life. But your purpose is not that. You have not come to this world to eat, drink, and be merry. You have come here to to know God, to get enlightened, to forever terminate the cycles of birth and death. Because millions of embodiments have come and gone in this illusion. Now that you are blessed enough to be spending time listening to this satsang, meaning you have done enough sadhana over many embodiments. So now also, if you don't let illusion take over, this can be the turning point. So this is what Lord is saying. So if you are faithfully doing everything, your duties, then you attain the eternal and imperishable abode of my grace. So eternal meaning no more life and death, no more coming back into pain, no more misery, no more childhood, birth, death, old age, disease, corona, flu, all these mental illnesses and physical illnesses and accidents and fights and arguments and lust and passion. All these things will calm down because you will merge into God. That is eternal. An imperishable abode, meaning that never perishes, meaning it is perpetual, sanatana. That is what sanatana dharma means, perpetual righteousness. And there you merge into God in by His grace. His grace will fall on you. Like they say, God helps those who help themselves. So assuming you are helping yourself, God will certainly help you. You take one step, He takes 100, but you have to take one step. If you don't take any step, God doesn't take any step. Because if you're not willing to help yourself, why would you think God will? So this, through His grace, you have been given a human body. Through His grace you are breathing the nose through air through your nostrils. Through His grace you are digesting your food. Through His grace you are walking, talking, eating, sleeping, enjoying the earth, water, fire, air, ether. All these things are not man-made, they're God-made. So therefore we live in God's world, and blessed are the souls who live their life in this gratitude and love. That's what God is saying. And moving on to shloka 57, चेतसा सर्वकर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्परः बुद्धियोगमुपाश्रित्य मच्चित्तः सततं भव. Now God further is guiding His favorite disciple Arjuna. He says, resigning all actions to me, by the force of understanding, hold me as the supreme beloved. Having taken refuge in the yoga of steady intellect, keep your mind ever fixed on me. What a beautiful shloka this is. He's giving you very direct and pointed direction that if we want to come to God, we have to do these things. And if we don't do them, we will not get God. So, but in order to get that, you will have to lift yourself to reach that stage. It doesn't happen automatically. So God is saying, resigning all actions to me, meaning do your duties, do everything, cook food for your kids, go to work, do your challenging activities, whatever you do, but do it for God. Give it to God. Say, God, this is, I'm starting my day with you. Start your day with God, end your day with God, fill your day with God. This is the way to God. So if you are doing that naturally, spontaneously, mind you, without changing anything, your life is the same. You're doing the same thing, except now you are living in gratitude. You are living in humility. So here God is saying, if you are resigning all actions to me by the force of understanding, you now understand that you are a wave of the ocean. You have a part to play and you are nothing but the ocean. So recognize that. holding me as the supreme beloved. Love God with all your heart, all your might, just like you love your parents. Imagine God who created this whole cosmos and so many bodies he has given you. And now in this embodiment, he gave you enough intellect to listen to satsanga, to know good from bad, right from wrong, ethical from unethical. So this is the opportunity where you intensify your sadhana and accelerate your progress. So, having taken refuge in the yoga of steady intellect, keep your mind ever fixed on me. So, God is saying, taking refuge in God, giving your 100% to God with full faith, you um, sharpen your intellect. Steady, make it steady like the shining light. Don't let it waver. Don't let the world pull you in. Live in the world, but live like the lotus flower. Float on the lake, but don't be part of the muck, the mud. Keep your mind fixed on me. Do your duties. How simple, how beautiful, how compassionate, how loving. What more do we want from God? So, moving on to the next shloka, shloka number 58. Machittah sarva durgani mat prasadatarishyasi atha chetvam ahankaran shrodhyasi vinangshasi. Then God is saying, by fixing your mind on me, you will overcome all obstacles by my grace. But if you do not listen to my teachings due to egoism, you will perish. So, a beautiful and a very profound shloka to be understood by us in no uncertain terms. God is saying, fix your mind ever on God, on me, meaning on God. You will overcome all obstacles. So, God is giving you the energy, the drive, the skill, and He will also remove all your obstacles. How? By His grace. Difficult things are done when God's grace comes, impossible becomes possible. Look at Lord Hanuman, how many difficult, seemingly impossible tasks he did with God, Lord Rama's grace. So that is the power of grace of God. But God says, suppose I'm giving you all this knowledge, I've created the Gita, I've created Yoga Vashisht, I've created the Upanishads, I've created sages and saints, I've given you all kinds of support and opportunity, but still if you don't listen to me, you listen to these teachings and they are at surface level, they go from one ear go out the other, and you are intoxicated in your own habits and in your own things that you like to do, but not listen to these teachings or ignore these teachings. Why? God says, due to egoism. You say, I am, I exist, I know more, I am smart, I am this, I am that. So here God is saying, because of your ego, you are not listening to these teachings properly, you will perish. Perish meaning birth and death. Again, you had this opportunity to get to liberation, you were starting to make progress, but then your ego came like wet. Suppose you are a dry hot wood ready to be consumed by fire, and suddenly it rains. Now the wood becomes wet, the matches doesn't work. So what has to happen? That due to our ego, we destroyed everything. So it takes time for the ego to be humbled, but here God is saying, if you miss this opportunity, you will perish, meaning uh, that you will have to continue the journey of life and death in some other embodiment you will get. And this is, human embodiment is not to be taken lightly. Many of us do, and some even unfortunately commit suicides and things like that. But this human body is a great blessing, a divine miracle, and it is like the spot from where you can get enlightened. It's like the grand central station for you to decide which train you want to take. One goes to liberation, one goes to hell, one goes to heaven, one goes into just keeping perpetually moving from life to life. So we have to decide what matters most to us. And those of you who are listening to these satsangas regularly, divine grace is already upon you. God has already blessed you to give you this faith, the courage, the depth, the sincerity. So if you continue to focus, these teachings have been uh, many people have been liberated by these teachings. You will too. So don't be in a rush, don't be trying to do something very quickly. Just enjoy the journey, enjoy like a child enjoys his chocolate candy, just like he enjoys sucking on it and the flavor. Or adults even, they enjoy the food when they eat, which is their favorite food or delicious. They are in no rush to finish it, they are enjoying it, much in the same way you enjoy your sadhana. This is Swami Nikhilananda. Hari Om Tat Sat. We are getting close to the end of Bhagavad Gita. We will start from shloka number 59 in tomorrow's satsang. Hari Om Tat